Hi there, welcome back to my channel. Most people know me as the lady that got hit by a truck 20 years in 2006 and made a full recovery. But today I want to take you on a little detour and share that before I got hit by a truck, about 3 years before that, I had a head-on collision that was also potentially fatal on a very, very quiet country road here in Tasmania, in a farm district called Kindred. There was no other car on the road, and then suddenly an oncoming car who was touring on a quiet Sunday afternoon didn't know, lost control and veered right into my car where I was with my two daughters. The car was a total write-off. Luckily the girls and I were injured, but not seriously injured. However, I did have really bad whiplash for a couple of days, and of course aches and pains all through my body. The girls and I, we had bruises and all sorts of things as well. And because I was already a healer, I asked Pete to give me a healing session, and he gave me a reflexology session, and I couldn't believe what happened next, right? I went to sleep, had the best sleep of my entire life. When I woke up in the morning, my whiplash and all the aches and pains in my body were completely gone, and they've never come back, right? So in my work, and I've seen more than 20,000 people in my career, I work with many people who suffer from chronic pain, and they have residual pain from an accident or from an injury or from giving birth or from diseases, and the pain just doesn't go away till they come to me for a treatment. Often Pete and I and Caleb, we're at the end of the road and people are despairing, and that's when they book in for a session, and we still see miracles. So back in 2006, I got seriously injured by a truck. I was a pedestrian standing on the side of the road waiting for the passengers to hop in a car, and a potato truck came along. It was again in a farm district. There was no one else on the road, just me, and this truck came along and misjudged the road and crashed right into my back, and there was nothing I could do. I couldn't have avoided it or anything. And this time the car wasn't so damaged, it was me. I had a near-death experience on impact, and just before I was able to, pass all the way through, or cross over as people would say, which by the way was the most amazing experience of my life. I remember that I have 6 children and they were all quite young at that point in time, so I wanted to come back into my body, and I did. So when I was back in my body, I realized I was in deep trouble. I could tell my liver was bleeding. I already knew from being very closely connected to my body and working as a healer, I could tell that I was severely injured. I had 40 or more broken bones, soft tissue damage and bleeding on the inside. So all this was going on like for a week, that like I was only maybe one breath away from dying for a whole week. And then after that I had several operations when the bleeding stopped to restore my frame. So my skeleton had to be put back together, and for a year or 2 or 3 years I suffered from the effect of spinal injuries. And today I want you to know I am so good and so healthy. I have no pain anywhere. Every part of my body functions. And sometimes I'm even too ashamed to share with my clients how well I feel, how I have no after effects from the truck accident 20 years ago. And I want this to be the case for everyone. So I'm sharing my story because I want to inspire you that everyone, including you can make a comeback from the hits, whatever hits you in life, right? So whether it's a physical hit, like a truck accident, or other difficulties, or financial hit, or hits in your relationship where you get struck down, or you suffer heartbreak. Heartbreak, by the way, feels to the body like a physical pain. The body doesn't discern the difference between physical or emotional pain. The impact is the same. So I dare to say that many of us, many of you, if you're listening today, I'm sure you've had your own truck moments. So I'm sharing all this with you today because I know what helped me a lot when I couldn't really do much for myself was Peter and my children, who gave me reflexology at the time when I was in the Alfred Hospital in Melbourne. So I have 2 feet here, right? So reflexology, each foot contains 7,000 nerve endings, and they are portals to the master system of the body. The body runs on a master system that's not very often talked about, but your master system operates, it's the boss, right? It tells you where the life force goes, which part of you needs suppression, which part of you needs going full board today. It's in charge of your nervous system, your hormones. It's the master system. It tells you, it bosses all the other systems in your body. So I had to learn to work with the master system of my body and of my client's body, and I can do that very well. I work with the life force, or the intelligence that operates your body, that dictates everything, and I work with your body. I also work with my own body. I don't work against it. When we can get underneath all the problems, the heartache and the pain, we connect in with the master system, we set up conversation with it, and we tell it what we want, and then you can heal your life super, super fast. Over the years, I've broken other bits and pieces, like I broke my wrist once, and I broke my elbow a couple of times. And my children are the same, by the way. They all heal their structure very, very quickly. My wrist was healed within 10 days, and so was my elbow. And everyone can do that. So if I'm telling you that because if my bones can heal so quickly, other parts of my life that are perhaps not so visible can also heal quickly, right? And that's the same for you. If one person can do it, if one human can do it, all humans can do it. So I'm sharing this really to inspire you and to share with me what I do with my work. So, and I'm teaching this as well. So in about 6 weeks' time, I'm going to teach this as a structured 3-day training here in our beautiful oasis in the Purple House in Forth, where we have 9 acres and a beautiful restaurant, which will be closed for, I will be doing it on the days that the restaurant is closed. It's very, very peaceful here. We are surrounded by nature. It's easy to drop in and shut out all the noise and receive deep healing yourself. So for 3 days, we will be locked away. I'm going to teach you how to connect with the master system through the feet, rebalance your whole body. You're going to get a factory reset, and you learn how to give that to another person. So this is for people who want to get off the hamster wheel. They want to take their, prosperity you want to be on the driver's seat of your car. You don't want to be in the passenger seat, and you want to learn how to steer the car on the road and how get into the country of prosperity and get out of the country or the island of survival, because we were designed to be much more than survival. You know that we were created to be a full soul expression, and we are able to do much more than than our limiting beliefs teachers lead us to believe, right? So when we work with a master system, in these 3 days, I'm only going to teach you the feet and the points, the cranial points on the head. So the head, we know, contains our brain. It gets very busy in there, and it's actually the brain that sets us up for a lot of pain, because the brain believes a lot of stories that we carry about ourselves, and it constantly creates a trauma loop or a pain loop. And yet, when we touch different parts on the head and on the cranium, those stories start to dissolve and your pain goes away. Because it's actually the role of the brain to keep us safe. So in order to keep us safe, it's always remembering stories about heartache, heartbreak, truck accidents, and so on, where life wasn't fair to us, or scarcity, to keep us safe. But in the long run, this creates a lot of pain. Also, if you've had an accident or an illness or misfortune and you're still in pain from that 6 months later, it is now solely your brain that's creating that pain. It's called neuroplastic pain, And there's a lot of research going on in today's world, how the brain plays that out in our lives. Because just remember, if you didn't have a brain, the body wouldn't even have pain, right? We can just reduce it to a simple logic like that. So during the training, I teach you how to sit with the brain, how to allow some light back into those pockets of darkness so that they lose their grip on you and you start to feel your best self. Like maybe you feel better than you've ever done before. That's often what my clients tell me. They say, I feel so different, I feel so great, I feel so calm, I feel so light, I feel so loving, I feel so intelligent and connected. But I always tell them that's the real self that's been hiding behind the curtains can now step forward and take over. So during those 3 days, it's going to be your turn to relax, to get a factory reset. You get time on the relaxation table 50% of the time. It's in our beautiful oasis here in Forth at the Purple House Estate, which is really like a piece of paradise that induces the right frequency in your body. You learn a lot about yourself, and the best thing is you go home with a toolkit so you can heal your own body every day, or you can work with your loved ones. I call this community medicine. So the way forward, the way of the future is community medicine, where each household or extended family has one person that can help you, that has answers and tools that work, so you don't have to rely on other ways that are more destructive. So it's bringing intelligence back into the community, and you can be part of that. This is my invitation to you. I will put all the details in the article below. Also go and check out my website. Numbers are limited. People are already enrolling, which I'm very excited about. And of course, I will keep the group small and intimate as always. It's also your chance to work with me and be with me for 3 days. And when I was young, like 30 years ago, I wish an old healer could have been my mentor or my guide, right? I wish I could have had a lovely, beautiful, wise woman who carried the community wisdom, who could have shared all her secrets with me, and I wouldn't have needed to be knocked down by the universe as many times as I did. Because ultimately, we learn from our painful experiences, or we learn from inspiration. And it's much easier and kinder, of course, and safer to learn from inspiration than to be knocked down all the time. But even if your life has knocked you down a lot, there's always a way back. I also wrote a book about it. If you think my story is like too incredible to believe, I call this book You're the Miracle. It's available on Amazon. How being hit by a truck saved my life. Because of course, I never wanted to be hit by a truck again. So I had to get very, very serious about what was running the show in the back of my subconscious mind for me to create all those accidents. And so that's what that book is all about. My books are available on Amazon. I have 2 more books written about different chapters of my life. They are really going to help you believe in yourself when you read them, and they're also very entertaining. But my whole purpose is to help you get out of trauma so you can start enjoying your life. Feel good, feel better, feel younger and more empowered and confident and happy every day of your life. Thank you for tuning in. I know this is a lot of information, and therefore I will put the article, so have a read of the article and see if this is something that calls you, that you feel like, yes, this is something I've been looking for, or perhaps it's the first time you hear about that. This is a very wholesome way to create health, wealth and happiness, and to start building community medicine in your community, and for you to lead a fulfilling, happy life. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to being with you soon.